Hey everyone, it's Flakfire. Battlefield 1 takes us to many different real-world locations. Places like Fort de Vaux saw horrific battles fought on its slopes and within its depths. The guns there have fallen silent, and the wounds from over 100 years ago have finally begun to heal. However, that's not the case for every location brought to life in Battlefield 1. Prise de Tahure was added with the game's French-themed DLC, They Shall Not Pass, and it turns out the weapons of war still fall on the field surrounding what was once the village of Tahure. During the Great War, the Champagne-Ardenne region was ravaged by artillery, bombs, and every other weapon imaginable. 4 years of bombardment from both sides took its toll on the area, reducing it to a mess of rubble and chalky churned-up earth. The front line shifted often, and trenches really did creep through the streets and demolished homes. After hostilities ceased in 1918, the area surrounding Tahure was so badly damaged and dangerous, the French government elected to turn the area into a military camp and firing range for artillery. It was dubbed Camp Tahure and still operates to this day, although it's been renamed Camp Sweeps. Artillery units still regularly train there, and fresh munitions fall on the same soil they did over a century ago. It's a strange moment to realize World War I never truly ended for this slice of the French countryside. Yet much of the area surrounding Tahure is remarkably preserved. Satellite images of the camp still show evidence of French and German trenches throughout the area, and many of the roads remain unchanged from over 100 years ago. The village of Tahure itself is classified as having died for France. I visited a number of destroyed villages around Verdun, and it's a sobering experience. Unfortunately, access to what remains of Tahure is extremely restricted, and personally visiting it wasn't an option. This means the closest most of us will ever get to visiting the location is its representation in Battlefield 1. Prior to the war, Tahure was a small village with a population of only 185. Battlefield 1 did take some creative liberties, as the village shown in-game appears much larger and features a city wall. Still, in many ways, it's an accurate representation of what one would expect to find in that area of the Western Front. Meanwhile, DICE also appears to have hidden a number of historical Easter eggs on the map in Battlefield 1. Historically, the Germans used captured British landships during an attack on French positions in the village, and destroyed tank Mark V's dot the map in Battlefield 1. One of the objectives on Prise de Tahure is the Navarine Trench, named after a farm that became one of the most contested points in the lines. By the war's end, the location was completely unrecognizable. Other objectives, including the Schmidt and Delaunay trenches, were also actual locations west of Tahure. And the famous words of American poet Alan Seeger are also echoed in the map's visual design. He writes, quote, "I have a rendezvous with death at midnight in some flaming town." Interestingly, Seeger fought at Tahure with the French Foreign Legion in 1915, and night attacks were common in this sector. The area surrounding Tahure also has some interesting history aside from what's featured in Battlefield 1. It was used to test some interesting weaponry, including the ill-fated Borault machine in 1916. The machine functioned similar to later British landship designs, but had a single track that revolved around the cabin. It handled poorly, was never used operationally, and the concept was later abandoned. It's for these reasons Prise de Tahure is one of my favorite maps in Battlefield 1's French-themed DLC, They Shall Not Pass. But what are your thoughts on the history behind Prise de Tahure? What about the fact it's still used as an artillery range? Tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, share on social media, and subscribe. Make sure to turn on notifications for the latest Battlefield 1 news. To take your Battlefield 1 game to the next level, check out the Battlefield 1 Ultimate Utility app with a link in the video description. Thanks for watching.